Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of our entitled parents. In today's episode, entitled parent gets mad at me for opening a sanitary pad in a public toilet and for being at the zoo without any children. I have to fake excitement for the new parents at my job. My mom is insistent that I have a C-section so that she and my dad can schedule their visit for the birth of my daughter. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Entitled parent gets mad at me for opening a sanitary pad in a public toilet and for being at the zoo without any children. This happened to me earlier today. There is this mini zoo not too far away from where I live, only animals like small monkeys and other creatures, nothing too massive there. My boyfriend and I decided to go because he told me that he had never seen a red panda or a capybara and the zoo had both of these animals. Anyway, sometime at the zoo I went to go use the bathroom. I was on my period where a mother and her 4/5-year-old son were in there. I opened the pad and minded my own business where she started yelling at me for being inappropriate around her son. I was confused, so I asked her what I did wrong, and she said that I was introducing adult activities to her little boy and he was asking for some of the sweets that I had. She wasn't wrong. Her son was having a tantrum on the floor because he thought the pad opening was some sweets. I apologized and went to go wash my hands. She then looked at me and asked where my kids were. I say I didn't have any kids. She then asked me who I was with and I just told her that I was with my boyfriend. She lost it again, saying that my boyfriend and I were selfish for taking up slots at the zoo for a family that could have needed it, and that I should have done something else because apparently adults cannot have fun or go to zoos anymore. I didn't know what to say and I was really confused, so I just left. I met up with my boyfriend after I left the bathroom and told him what happened. He didn't believe me until the lady came storming up to me again and demanded that I buy her son some sweets as I'd upset him and led him on and to leave so we could give our spots to other families. My boyfriend is a very tall and scary looking Romanian man, and here in the UK, people are really scared of Eastern Europeans, so it only took him opening his mouth and asking her what she meant to get rid of her. He also then believed me after this. So yeah, that was something. I want to know how she thinks a period is an adult activity, like some girls can still be single digits and get them. Some parents be crazy though. If my kids thought someone was having sweets, I'd be telling them to mind their own business, not make a fuss thinking my kids are entitled to other people's property. I was 8 when I had my first period. Although in very disturbing and sickening examples of how young a girl can be, the youngest mother on record was only 5 when she gave birth. She never revealed who the father was. Her parents took her to the doctors unaware of her precocious puberty. Precocious puberty is under 8 for a girl and under 9 for a boy. I assume if it happens her son, she'll blame OP for showing him adult things, and the zoo for letting OP in without children so she could do this to her precious baby. It would have been funny if your boyfriend asked, "Where is your husband?" It's strange to be at the zoo without a mate. Or did you kidnap this little boy? I'm glad you didn't encounter her anymore after that. That would have been great. If there is a next time, I'll save it for that. Even if you had sweets, the entitled woman's son has no business expecting OP sweets. Exactly. What happened to teaching kids to not take things from strangers? Slots at the zoo? Sure, there might be capacity. But I am sure not everyone in the city is trying to go to the zoo at once. That lady is delusional. On top of the whole pad thing, if his son thinks he can get sweets from strangers, there is a whole other issue going on there, too. Does she think if someone next to her pulls out a candy bar, they have to have one readily available for her son? What kind of crazy is she? I have to fake excitement for the new parents at my job. So I'm a nurse. I work in maternity and have always been in this specialty since becoming a nurse. When I first started this job years ago, I didn't have kids and I felt genuine happiness for every parent, whether they were first-time or seasoned parents. Now, after having 2 kids of my own, all I feel is a deep sadness for them. Especially the first-time parents. Their innocence and joy as they stare at their newborn, they have absolutely no idea how much they ruined their lives and their relationship. No idea what they have gotten themselves into. The seasoned parents, usually with 2 or more kids already, always seem to want to stay longer at the hospital cause they know it's a break from the little monsters they have at home. Also, go figure that the moms who have multiple children always score higher on the postpartum depression screening that we give to them before discharge. Surely it's just a coincidence, right? Motherhood is a lie. It's a scam and I hate myself for falling for it. Please refrain from giving advice on posts marked with the no advice flair. When someone say they are pregnant inside, I'm like, welcome to the misery club. Yep. Inside I'm just like, congrats on ruining your life, lol. Me too, I genuinely can't be happy for them as they have no idea what's coming. I've made it a mission to tell friends the truth, and if they still refuse to listen, then I know it's something they must really want, and I can live with knowing at least I didn't lie and resort to the old adage and nonsense, it's the best thing ever, it's so worth it. This goes for male friends and family too. I express the level of resentment that can build if they think they will palm off the work onto the mothers and not do their share, which will inevitably lead to divorce and breakups or unhappy, struggling relationships. Most have heeded this warning. For those who don't, they also know they can come to me as a non-judgmental confidant who will listen with compassion when they realize they should have listened to my advice. I just have one. My husband and I did try for a second for a long time. Many rounds of IVF. When our RE told us we needed to consider alternative routes to parenthood together, sperm donor, donor embryo, adoption, I was secretly a little excited. He didn't want that route. I was terrified of a baby ruining our almost perfect relationship. He didn't know me in the infant phase. In the pregnancy phase. In the never changes out of spit-up crusted t-shirts and pajama pants that may have been peed on phase. He didn't know the stress of a newborn/infant. Now when people tell me they are pregnant, all I feel is disgust for them. Like, you did that on purpose? Don't you know how awful it is? But they don't. Or maybe for them it's nice. My mom is insistent that I have a C-section so that she and my dad can schedule their visit for the birth of my daughter. I don't know where to begin. I just need a place to vent. I, 31F, am due to have my first baby in just over 5 weeks' time. My pregnancy was a surprise and it's been a difficult 8 months thus far. Although low risk, I've experienced every symptom you can imagine, from intense morning sickness to migraines and carpal tunnel syndrome. I've also faced some pretty intense discrimination at work despite maintaining a high rate of performance throughout the year. All of this to say, it's been a rough year. I've had little support from my family this year and their nonsense has seemingly known no bounds. Since around May, they've been asking my partner and I to make the 10-hour drive interstate for Christmas so that we could spend it with them. This would be fine, but my doctor has repeatedly told me not to do this as I'll be 36 weeks at that point and prone to blood clots. Despite this, they've continued to pester my partner and I about it. At one point they proposed coming to us for Christmas, but then swiftly shut down their own idea when they immediately realized it would be an inconvenience to them. Recently, my dad was diagnosed with some health problems of his own, which he's been told is completely treatable with surgery and some medication. Regardless, I have called every other day to check up on him and to see how he's going. In the last few weeks, my mom has started telling me how awful birth was for her and every other woman on both sides of my family. I kid you not, every time she calls, she encourages me to plan a C-section and drops some new detail about a relative who had a traumatic birth experience. I have told her that her comments are unhelpful and she's known for months that I don't want a C-section if I can help it. She constantly says things like, if I had my time again, I'd plan a C-section, as if it's an easier option. I wondered why she started down this path until she started making comments about Dad's treatment plan and appointments, such as, we might be able to make it out to see you for a few days in January, but Dad might have to go to an appointment on the 18th and then again on the 31st, and then after that we can't visit for a while because Dad might need a surgery. I snapped and told her that I would not and could not plan the birth of my child around their schedule and that they shouldn't bother coming. They haven't even asked my partner or I if we even want extended family present directly after birth. We don't. I was so scared about the birth and was starting to feel somewhat comfortable with the idea of it all when my mom started making these comments. Every time I've told her that I'm upset about their comments or their lack of normal, healthy support, my mom has told me that I'm just hormonal and that everyone else has their own thing going on. I'm so sick of their shit and ready to cut them off for some time. I feel like they've made the birth of my little girl all about them. They've compared the potential surgery my dad might need to my birth, talking about catheters and 4 drips like I won't need a similar setup, particularly if I go down the C-section route. When they did come to visit earlier in the year, they made comments about what I was eating. I was 24 weeks pregnant AF that point. One of my unhealthy options was a few chocolates after dinner. I don't even know what to say or do. All of this has made me reflect on my childhood, and I can't help but feel sad about that too. I've spent the last few weeks just crying about it all, and I'm so tired of venting about it to my partner. Thanks for reading. If you've come this far, I just needed to vent. Do not tell your mom when the baby is born. Wait until a couple of days after. This is my plan. Even if I end up needing to plan a C-section, she won't be told about it. Or a week. I'd also stop communicating regularly and wait a day or 2 to respond so it isn't unusual when you go in the hospital. Also, make them get a hotel. As a mama ready to pop just like you, it's time to cut them off. It's your body and your birth, and they have chosen to be selfish and disrespectful of your wishes. This will extend to ignoring wishes like don't kiss the baby or what not to feed them. You need to put your foot down. You are not being over-emotional. You don't owe your parents anything. You need to ensure that first and foremost you and baby are healthy. That includes mentally. If you can handle no contact, go low contact, but you are gonna have a beautiful baby to focus on soon and don't deserve this disrespect. It may not be easy, but stand your ground. It's your body and your baby, not some sideshow for your mother. Give her one more chance to back off, and if that fails, then go and see until after the birth. It sounds like enough has happened in the past for that to be a consideration anyway. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.